Hello everyone and welcome to this video. This time I'm doing something a little bit different, playing Star Stable and talking about Stranger Things season 5 finale. I could have maybe made a new account for this if I'm going to do more types of these videos, but I don't have any ideas for that yet. So this is just going to be on this account, playing Star Stable and then talking about Stranger Things season 5 final or finale, however you want to pronounce it. Of course, some disclaimers. I don't own anything, and well, there is some violence and gore in the screenshots, so if you can't handle those things, then maybe it's better that you don't watch or just sound only. Alright, let's just jump straight into it. And of course, spoilers ahead. And you will see, I'm not going to talk about every scene, I'm just gonna talk about the scenes that interest me most. And at the end I'm gonna talk about why I think that 11 is actually dead. Starting with Murray's humor, honestly, his sarcastic, bit cynical humor, I think it's hilarious, really. I'm saying this, I just laughed so much about that. Moving on to this scene, like, the soldier is so fed up with Kay, and I get it. I don't mean, who does not hate Kay? But what he said after that is just, I find it so wrong. Let's back this freak ourselves. Like, he just sees 11 as a freak, not even as a person. That is just so wrong. She is not just some weapon or what he says, freak. There's a whole person behind that. So yeah, that was so wrong. I really had to chuckle a bit at myself at this moment because of what Robin said, because I felt so stressed the first time watching this. Then we get to Vecna in his new lair. That huge heart, that was so impressive the first time seeing that in the season, like, whoa, so strong, beating so strong too. Vecna does look quite badass in this new form. I joked in another comment, like, he grew a winter coat. It kinda looks like that. Then the scene with the kids, I felt so bad for them in this season, like, and it really shows that Vecna is a coward actually, well, throughout the whole series, because targeting kids, that's really cowardly. It's so easy to go and hurt a kid, to prey on kids, like, this is horrible, honestly. Yeah, he really showed how much of a coward he actually is in this season. I really felt for Max in this moment, like, after struggling in Vecna's mind for about 2 years, then you're just back there. First I was a little bit afraid, just before that, like, when she realized that she had been hijacked, to say so, I was like, shit, is Vecna trapping her? Is he gonna kill her after all? But no, luckily not. Wow, this looks so impressive and sort of beautiful, but also stressful. Like, you get a planet crashing down on you. Yeah, that's serious. At this moment everyone was stressed. I really thought for a moment that he was a goner indeed. But no, then Jonathan miraculously saved him after all. I just love how 11 kinda whooshed him away here. Kinda shoving him away with her powers. And then the illusion made by Kali, that was so brilliant. And then they have another confrontation. Yeah, he is damn strong, Vecna. I don't think 11 could have defeated him alone. Finally, Vecna faces Hopper too. Had to happen at least once. And yeah, I was really afraid for Hopper in that moment that Vecna would kill him. But of course he just wanted to manipulate him into thinking that he killed 11 just to make sure that the plan would fail. And it looked so real. It really looked like Vecna just killed 11. But yeah, then of course it turns out that's not the case. The moment Max, 11 and Kali disappeared, I was really like, you take the lead, Holly, and she did. And how it's amazing how she took the lead, how she went from so scared in the beginning, and obviously she had really good reason to be scared. She's just a kid yet, to such a leader. I just love that. Holly is just amazing. This was so freaking nerve-wracking. Luckily Derek he was just capable of pulling her back in time, but really, I was like, no, is he gonna get her? But luckily, Vecna didn't get Holly after all. And at this point, I was really starting to think, is Henry or Vecna gonna face his fear? Like, he's been confronted with that cave so many times now. Many more times, I think, chasing Max off screen. And yeah, he did. He did get over his fear. He had to do it sometime. Here I was like, please, Holly and kids, don't check out the sound. Just go. Just run, because, you know, it's bad news. Here I thought maybe Vecna is gonna have a last minute redemption. But then again, no, not really. Because his beliefs are so deeply embedded in him now. No, was not gonna happen. Then holy moly, the Mind Flayer, what a big thing. It's not exactly a dragon, but yeah, it's a huge spider. And then I love how 11 came in heroically. I thought she was jumping for the mouth, but then she pulls this move. I love how she just immediately swung Vecna onto the ground. And then he says to her, so you really do want to die. I wonder if he just quickly read her mind, although no, he hasn't really done that in the past. I think he just said that because he really thinks that she can't defeat him on her own. And to be fair, yeah, I think that too, because Vecna, he's extremely strong. Perhaps there was a possibility that 11 could have pulled it off alone, but it would have been extremely close. I just love Nancy's bravery here. Like, she's just like, yeah, I'll be the bait. Love her courage. Love the fight between 11 and Vecna too. Yeah, many said that it could have been longer, but yeah, that's always the thing with these fights. We always want them to be longer because they're so epic. Sure, it could have been, but I also just, how the rest did during this fight, how Will fought back and how everyone had their special role. And the Duffer Brothers also kind of explained it like that. It was amazing. This was so damn epic. Just wow. They are just basically like soldiers at this point. Really like war heroes. And they were all needed because even though Vecna was in a lot of pain, he still stretched out his arm to 11. He still had a lot of strength, so really everybody was needed in this fight. Oh, these poor kids. Like, how can you do this to a kid? Like, that's what episode 1 of this volume started with. How Vecna took Will, etc. Like, I was horrified by that. Like, it's just a little kid doing that to a little kid. Like how can you really? And then all of that black goo comes out of them. It's good that they're free and rescued. Like, if these kids had a bad ending, that would be really devastating. I love the scene in which they all gathered around Vecna. They were all like, this is the man or the monster who hurt us all, and just see how he is there now, like this. Sort of emotional in a way too, everybody remembering what he had done to them, what he had caused them. And maybe they even felt a little bit sorry for him being like that, or being there like that, but yeah, he straight up deserved it. And then this moment, I just loved this. Fucked with the wrong family. Amazing, Joyce, amazing. Well, yeah, of course, you don't get to mess with a mother like that, and she can get vengeance. Yeah, I think just it's great that she got the opportunity to do this, because so far she couldn't really do anything against Vecna. But now she did have the power to. And then everybody remembering how they suffered because of him. It was a really, really good moment. I do still wonder, like, does Joyce not remember that he was Henry back then? Did she ever realize? Did anyone ever tell her? More about that is explained in the first Shadow play. I didn't go there, but there is a video online. If it's still online, it was at least. I shall look it up and link to it in the description. It explained everything about the first Shadow play. And I must say, even though Vecna's bleeding here to death, he's in a lot of pain, he still lets out this final scream when Joyce said that you fucked with the wrong family. Like, he has so much rage, especially now that he lost. He is a fucking tough nut, really, definitely. But it's good that he's dead, though. Yeah, no redemption for him. Fought that for a moment, and of course, what happened to him as a kid, it is horrible. And maybe he is indeed being used all the time, or he was used all the time, but still it does not justify his actions. And if it's indeed true what he said, that he could have resisted it, but that he chose not to resist it, yeah, then he really has become a monster, the villain. Turned that what hurt him into a shield. What I still miss some scenes when it comes to him, like for example in season 4 when he lay burning on the ground. I just want to see still how he escaped and what he has been doing in the abyss in the meantime. I think that would still be an interesting thing to see. And I feel like they could have showed it in the season. It would have fitted. Just a little catching up with what he has been doing. They talked about it, but they didn't really show it. So yeah, and that's it for Vecna, the defeat of the big villain. But yeah, no happy ending yet. They run into the military, and I already expected that to happen. And then 11 has this heartbreaking last conversation with Mike. And then she is about to sacrifice herself. And it's just so sad how all of this ended for Mike. Then fast forward, I am so happy that Max and Lucas survived. I really liked Max, so I was really like, if Max doesn't live, I just really want Max to survive. And then she's so happy with Lucas, and Lucas with her. Like, for Lucas it was also such a tough time, especially in season 4 when Vecna broke her bones, and oh my, that scene in the Krill house, that was so emotional. I'm so happy they ended up so happy together. I just love what Dustin did here, and then later the middle finger to the principal. Yeah, that was really so cool. And Erica, she is so gorgeous here. Like, Erica's still a young kid too, but she is already so tough. And then they all celebrate, and honestly I agree too with Dustin. Like, those graduation outfits, they do look ridiculous indeed. At this moment, just after that image with the radio or the speaker, I was like, what is this? Is Mike gonna have powers now, or are we gonna get something unexpected? But no, he remembered. Poor Mike. I'm so glad that basically everyone, yeah, except Mike, then they all got their happy ending. And the highlight of the happy endings is, I think, Hopper proposing to Joyce. Like, I didn't expect that. I didn't see that coming. But yeah, for Mike, it's gonna take him a while to recover. I really like the conversation he had with Hopper. Like, yeah, the bad stuff. It just feels bad. Anything horrible you experience whatsoever, yeah, you can take lessons from it, but it's not gonna change the feeling. And that's in general with healing and everything. You don't have to get to like those bad feelings. It's, yeah, you can pull lessons from it and get stronger, but you can also acknowledge, no, I'm never gonna like those feelings. They felt horrible, and they felt horrible for a reason. And then the series ends with them playing a D&D campaign. I just loved how Max looked in that scene. And that detail with their names on their campaign books, right? Yeah, just beautiful. And how they were also emotional, like really touching. And then the next generation comes to play. I love how they were so full of life, how they were so spirited and argumentative with each other. And I think Mike is so happy for them here. He's so happy that they get to have the childhood he didn't get to have, because his was a lot more chaotic and dramatic than it should have been. But yeah, that's how it was. And then finding some solace in them being able to have the childhood, yeah, that's really soothing. And then the series ends where it began. I also love how Karen Wheeler, how she shouted at them like her being a strong mother again. Like, come on guys, the lasagna is getting cold, hurry up. Yeah, great way to end the series. Then now about the dark truth, why I think 11 died. First of all, her motivations, those, and the determination, those conversations she had with Hopper. In none of them did she really strongly agree with him to live a life after all of this and to get the hell out of there with him, away from Kay and everyone. She did not look convinced at all in any of those conversations. She even changed the subject in one of those conversations, and she said it herself, I have to end this cycle. And she was really strongly convinced of that and determined. And honestly, I get it, because imagine being her like that after all she has been through. You just don't want that to possibly happen again to somebody else. And what would 11 do really? Living alone without her loved ones, with the risk still that Kay could possibly go after her, because Kay is relentless. Really, I hate her. She stops at nothing. Papa was awful, but Kay is much, much worse with everything she does. Speaking about Kay, I wonder how the aftermath went as well. That is also what I was missing, how the things went with the military, etc. Because nobody seems to have been charged for anything. And yeah, I guess it's because Kay didn't have her big fish anymore, because she was really after 11, not really after the others, maybe Hopper, but really what she wanted most was 11, and that chance was gone. And I suppose maybe with that she didn't care so much about the others, etc. And it was also quite a shock what happened. And I think the military too, they saw that, and perhaps that softened them a little bit too. But yeah, I can only fill in the gaps. Like, I don't know what actually happened, but I guess they were all pardoned because there was no point for Kay to punish them anymore. Like, what could she get out of it? nothing that brought her closer to 11, so I guess she just let him go. I think, yeah, Kay is maybe like that, like she's one big goal she wants to accomplish, and if that doesn't work out, then perhaps she does just not at all care about the rest. And yeah, 11's determination it was so strong. But it's not the only thing. Notice also, when Kali gets shot, or when she seemingly gets shot, 11 touches her blood a lot, right? She puts her hands into it. But when we see her walking to Murray, a little bit after that, her hands are clean. There is no blood on her hands at all, and blood is really sticky. You really need some good soap and water, running water, to be able to wash that off. Blood doesn't come off that easily with just water alone. It takes a while to do that, and she didn't really have any of that there. No running water for sure. So why were her hands still clean? And we never really saw Kali properly get shot. We hear the explosion, but we do not hear a gunshot. So I don't think that Kali was shot at all. And I also must say, I didn't hate Kali, not at all, like many did. Like, many were like, oh, she's ruining the vibe, but she was realistic, yeah, pessimistic as well, but it's true. With how sharp Kay is and how determined, it's a really big risk for 11 to stay alive, and she really badly wanted to end the cycle. So it makes a lot more sense that 11 would still go with the sacrifice plan. So what I think happened, it's a bit a truth in the middle, because the truck, there was no secret exit, there was no way she could have passed the soldiers unseen. So I do indeed think that Kali, she was still alive, and she made 11 invisible. Then 11 ran into the upside down. How did she then conquer those sirens? Well, see, in this scene, 11 is already working up more strength. She is already getting a little bit past it, the effect of the sirens. So what I think she did, she got out of the truck and she ran full speed into the upside down, working up that strength. And I mean, she had a lot of adrenaline, a lot of determination. Yeah, it knocked her out at first, but you see her here. She's already starting to stand up against it. And when you've got more adrenaline and determination, then you can do it. Then you can do a lot more things you didn't think were possible. And so then what I think she did is hide in the upside down, and she did go really quick then, but hide in a place where she could still see the others, but the others not her. And then Kali could stop casting the invisibility thing, but then cast Elle's illusion, because she was still fine and alive. She didn't get shot at all. We never heard a shotgun sound. Kali was still fine. And 11 didn't have any blood on her hands. And because 11 then ran in time to a place where she could see others, but others not her, that is why she reacted to Mike in time as well. And perhaps Kali possibly cast the illusion and the invisibility spell both at once. That doesn't seem as likely though. I think she just stopped with the invisibility after 11 had hidden herself and then cast illusion. It all went real fast. This explains also why she could cast her power, because she saw Mike and she could react to him in time, and also because she was not facing the sirens anymore, because she had already ran into another direction. And also the illusion is flawed. The 11 tattoo is also not visible on it, so it wasn't done perfectly. Which was alright, because 11 would die anyways. Before I close, I want to add actually I like how it ended with the characters. Like, it felt organic, natural to the show, because the characters have so often been protected by heavy plot armor. Nancy, for example, in season 4, Wagner could easily have killed her in that vision in the lab, but he didn't, because he wanted her to tell Eleven what she had seen. And also in season 5, that scene with Nancy and Jonathan when the building was melting. They easily could have died, but they just didn't at the last moment. Again, because of what people have been talking about, heavy plot armor. And then also in what episode was it? Either episode 4 or 5, I think, of the season 5, when Will stopped all those Demogorgons. I mean, they were almost about to kill Lucas and Robin and who else? I'm missing one person, but anyway, that again, they were almost about to die, but then Will stopped it. And well, I guess there are more examples like that when characters have been protected by heavy plot armor. Yeah, like Billy sacrificing for Max, for example. That was definitely out of Billy's character, but yet he did it. So, lots of things like that. So if a lot of characters would have died in that last episode, that that would have been weird, kind of. Or weird, just... yeah, wouldn't have felt natural to how the series went previously. Not so fitting. They were so heavily protected all the time by the plot armor, and then not in the final episode. No, that wouldn't really have made as much sense. Alright, that wasn't it for this video. I must say, at first I hated the ambiguous ending, but on the other side, yeah, the Duffers again, they managed to make us theorize again for a long time, even after the show has ended, and keep it alive, perhaps until the next spin-off. That would be great. Well, that's not really it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night, day, morning, evening, afternoon, whatever time it is for you. Bye!